Do you feel like you missed out on a lot during your adolescent years? Like you've been robbed of your experiences due to your inverted and embarrassing moments? Well, you see, this was not a problem back in the day. When men my age, late teenage years, they would have experienced so much by the time they were 18. Funny part is I read an article saying back in the day, like the early 1900s, children used to work as young as 4 years old, for child labor was made illegal. And most of the time they would work for free. So let's imagine the experience they would have had by the time they were 16, 17, and 18. They would have a life full of stories and experience. But then there's me. I hadn't really gone out there that much. But there will be some times that I did, but in general, not as much as I intended to be. So therefore, I somewhat regret it. But sometimes I'd be hearing about the early 1990s. They were like this and that. People were going out there, the schools were a lot more vibish and stuff like that. Seen videos on TikTok too. And you can see like a whole difference when you look at the schools back then to the schools now. Now you go to schools, you see people stuck on their phones, not much interaction. If you go to school back in the day, it was much more interaction since there really wasn't no distraction that was there. It just shows like how much technology has impacted us. Then I realized the problem was technology. Because nowadays our cellular device got us comfortable with the way we're living. Nonetheless, that came with a consequence because we became so comfortable to the point where we got no stories to tell because we lack experience. Therefore, since we lack experience, we can't say as much as we wanted to. Because you always hear people talk about other stuff that's going on. Have you seen this soccer game? Have you seen this? Have you seen that boxing fight? Have you seen this MMA fight? Have you seen this and that and this and that? It's all about other people's accomplishments. This takes to another point too. Why we aren't growing as men. If you take like someone from the Qing dynasty, someone like Genghis Khan, and the average dude today, who would have more experiences to tell? At the same age, just say they're both 19, who would have more experience to tell? Khan or this individual? Khan, because he experienced more, he took more risk. What separates this individual and Khan? One is more ambitious and one takes more risk. The other one is comfortable where he's at. Therefore, nonetheless, he's going to experience more symptoms of depression, while he's going to feel more symptoms of pride. Because when you experience a lot more and get out of your comfort zone, you start to build pride as a man. But nonetheless, if you compared someone from the 1990s, they had 10 times the experience we had of today. So if a dude my age wanted to go out with his friends, he actually had to get out there and actually try to go out there. But look at the times now. All we have to do is turn on a button and start playing that boring video game again. See, that's the reason we feel so miserable. Because we're not actually going out there, taking that extra mile to actually have actual fun. I mean, just look outside your window. You don't see teens like that outside anymore, or even at a park. So therefore, we tend to feel more isolated than ever before, just because we're not going out there. Let me just say another example. Back then, when us men actually needed some love, we would actually go out there to go find that someone to connect with. And if all means, if we got rejected, they still would have kept going and kept trying until they found someone. Eventually, all that trying actually made them learn on the progress. But look at us men, what we do nowadays when we need someone to love. We tend to jerk off like a dork to a stupid video on the hub. Because doing that is 10 times easier than getting rejected, ain't it? Constantly frying up that brain just to feel guilty. One thing I want to add is you aren't gonna grow if you don't take risk. So most of these things I mentioned so far are the #1 cause why most men aren't growing up. While we always stay young, while we're not actually growing up and experiencing new things. Always turning on that stupid console. Always looking up porn because it's easy. We can't grow if we are in our comfort zone. We need to take more risks to grow. Sad to think about if you had a gun pointed to your head, that you'll be like, at least I did this, at least I did that. You don't have it yet. That's the sad part. And that's the problem with why young men aren't growing. They're not taking risk, which results in men staying virgin till they're 20 or 30. Some even still behaving like a child. That part is some of them are still living with their parents. I say this because we're men. We're not supposed to be doing dumb stuff. So my point is this. Take back your life. Become a somebody. Become that one individual you always wanted to become when you was a child. When you was a kid, you always said, Mom, I want to become this dude. I want to become like this. I'm going to have a lot of money. I'm going to have this and this and that. So in order to do that, you're going to have to gain knowledge from books, get assets, get LLC, take a risk and start a business, become an entrepreneur, it all depends on you. And your life is on your hands. So therefore, you should stop indulging in stupid things like things I just mentioned, because it's not helping us grow as an individual. But go out there and start taking more risk and start putting yourself in uncomfortable positions that you don't want to be in, because that will make you grow even more, make you more than you always dreamed about being. But besides that, hope you guys learned something today, and I'm gonna go ahead and end the video because it's getting hot in here, North Carolina. The weather is just very bipolar. Some days it'll be rainy, some days it'll be hot, some days it'll be cloudy. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want another video about how to overcome an addiction, I have 2 videos that'll pop up in the card above me. And hope you guys have a nice day. Peace.